Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 3, and today I'm going to be giving you part 14 of What If Naruto Had the 6-Eye Sharingan. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends on your social media platform, and also guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the other series of the other channels. Yes, that's right, if you're new I did have 4 channels, which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. Anime King, Anime King 2, Anime King 3, and Anime Prince. All the links for the other channels will be down in the description, so go ahead, check them out, and yeah, enjoy. And don't forget to turn on the bell notification to see exactly when I post, because I do post a lot. So without further ado, wasting more time, what do you say we jump right into this brand new episode? Begin now guys. So the last part we left off, the air was thick with tension as Mito stood on the head of Hoshirama Senju, along with Rock Lee by her side. On the head of Madara Uchiha was Naruto and Sasuke Uchiha. Mito was trying to understand as she yelled at them, trying to understand why they were doing this, begging them to say something. However, Naruto and Sasuke had already spoken to one another. Despite everything they were going through, they still cared for her, and they did not want to take her dream away from her. Thus, they took the roles of criminals, not telling her what they had discovered, telling her that Konoha was not strong enough to make them stronger. They were just wasting their time there. Mito blamed all of this on the curse mark, not believing that they would ever say something like that, as she swore that she would break their legs and arms and drag them back if necessary. She told Lee to go after Sasuke as she jumped after Naruto. Lee and Sasuke caught up in a brutal battle. However, Lee was still recovering. Granted, he was able to move rather quickly on his feet, but he could not even open the gates. However, at the level that Sasuke was at right now, maybe that wouldn't make a big difference either, as Sasuke was able to tap into the curse mark and utilize the full body pattern without even going into the second stage. The match didn't last that long between him and Lee. Yes, they destroyed the era quite well, but Lee did not stand a chance as Sasuke was able to knock him out, as there was no reason for him to kill him. As for Mito and Naruto, the both of them were fighting against one another. There was a lot of emotion, sadness, grief, anger, as they clashed against one another. However, she was adamant on breaking every single bone in his body. She was not joking as she started to tap into the power of the Kyuubi. Naruto, who was holding back not to harm her, realizing if he did not actually start the fight, he was gonna lose. Thus, he started to release his own power. The both of them clashed against each other rather brutally, despite the both of them caring for each other so much, as she was adamant on bringing him back home, and Naruto just wanted to end it rather quickly. As they faced off against each other in a final clash, she created a Sharingan as Naruto was working on a new jutsu that he pulled out. His entire right arm was covered in lightning, and the lightning represented a dragon head, as the thing was brimming with power, the eyes glowing. Naruto attacked tore right through hers. He could have shoved his hand forward and ended her life right there and then. As their eyes met in mid-air, everything seemed to vanish. It just seemed like the both of them alone were in the world. However, he brought his hand down, disabling the attack, allowing the electricity to travel through her, which electrocuted her instead of stabbing her. It was enough to knock her out as she collapsed on the ground. She begged him not to leave in her final moments before she passed out. Rain started to pour as the heavens itself seemed to be crying as Naruto glanced up toward the sky. A few small tears shedding from his eyes, the rain washing it off, as Sasuke was standing there looking down towards Mito. The both of them then proceed to leave. A few minutes later, Kakashi arrived on the scene, being too late, as he found Lee and Mito, both of them unconscious. As he glanced up towards the heavens, once again he had failed. He had failed miserably. We then had a small time skip, as both Naruto and Sasuke were traveling down, with Orochimaru, down into his laboratory. They saw several people locked up in cages, but they paid them no mind. As Naruto was being rather mouthy towards Orochimaru, as Kabuto felt it necessary to tell him that was still Lord Orochimaru despite the disguise, Naruto simply blasted him away and told him to stay in his lane, as he also warned Orochimaru that if he wasted his time and did not make them stronger, he would kill him. Orochimaru found it rather amusing, but Kabuto was angered by the disrespect. As he created a chakra scalpel, Naruto turned towards him as he started to take off his glasses, as Sasuke stood beside him activating his Sharingan, as Kabuto was about to face them until Orochimaru broke it up, stopping them from fighting one another. As he promised Naruto that he would gain what he seek, in his mind he would also gain Naruto's body as well, Orochimaru thought to himself. It did not take too long for them to follow after the man, making their way down the hall, sealing their fate. We then skipped to Konoha as Mito woke up. She was in the hospital. Everything came rushing back towards her as she cried. She cried where she was as she couldn't believe that they were gone. Jerry arrived not too long after, as he spoke to her about the events. But she told him that she would not give up no matter what, even if that makes her a fool for chasing them down. Jerry was a person that knew about what it meant for chasing a comrade down. He's been doing that for Orochimaru for so long now. However, she would not give up and she would save them, but she would need to get stronger to do so. That is why he would have to train her. However, he was here to take her on a training trip, something that she was happy about. The others came in, as Ino was followed by Sakura as well, Shikamaru as well, as they came in to talk to her. Her determination, her drive to go and find them and save them from Orochimaru seemed to rub off on everyone, as they promised that they would help her. Snelly of the Sanin was also taking on new apprentice and students for a medical program, and Sakura Haruno, one of the Genins, has also been placed in this program because of her excellent chakra control. Ino was also placed in the medical program as well, followed by Hinata. But Mito would be leaving. The day finally came as she was gonna leave the village, as she said goodbye to everyone, promising in her heart that when she returned she would be stronger and she would save Naruto and Sasuke. So with that she left. We then skipped to Naruto as he was in a room by himself. His eyes were closed as he had the book in his hand, as Naruto was able to speak to Ichigo once again. However, this time, Naruto was able to learn a lot more, as he also informed Ichigo about what he had saw. It turns out that Ichigo lied about his past. The truth was he was the son of this woman known as Kaguya. He had two younger brothers, Hammer and Hagoromo. However, when Naruto brought up that he saw the Tree of Life, that tree that he saw in that strange dimension, the man was shocked. There was so much that he had written over his face as he looked worried. He feared something as Naruto didn't know exactly what he feared. But the look on his face, Naruto saw how fearful he was of this thing, as he was also fearful of that tree as well. He then went on to tell Naruto that their eyes placed them on a level where the tree reside, and that tree is a source of all energy in the known universe, and it would not allow something like them to exist. Naruto was shocked to hear that. Now he understand his fascination with chakra. Now he understand a bit of the things that he could do, things that normal people could not see or do, and why Sharingan was so different. Ichigo told him to sit down as it's time that he told him everything, as Naruto gave him a look, but he promised that he will tell him everything, every single thing that he need to know. So yeah guys, basically that's what I left off you guys again. Switch across the please check it for yourself, and also guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the other series, and I hope you guys enjoy each and every one of them. So without further ado, let's jump right into this. Begin now guys. We begin this new episode on one of the islands in the water country. One of the great nations, Kiri, was just a cluster of islands that came together to make the hidden village, the largest one where the entire village resides. However, around that was several smaller islands. At the moment, Yagura, known as the fort Mizukage, and also the Jinjulki of the Three Tails, was currently making his way. He had 4 guards, all of them dressed in black, Envu masks on their face. These were his elite Envus. At the moment they were making their way back towards Kiri. The reason they had left the island was Yagura decided to go and handle a 6-tailed Jinjulki himself. For a long time now, Utakata has been on the run. Every single hunter ninjas that he sent out there has either been killed or Utakata escaped. Thus, when the information came to him on the exact location of Utakata, he decided to make his move to end this once and for all and forcefully bring him back to the village. Utakata did not want anything to do with the Bloodline Rebellion, nor did he want anything to do with the Loyalists, so he left. However, over the past years, the Bloodline Rebellion has slowly been gaining ground on Yagura. Their forces seem to be increasing. That woman, that treacherous woman, Mei Terumi, seemed to be getting help from other nations. No major nations, probably minor nations. She probably promised them something once. She was to take the seat of Mizukage. Something that would only happen over his dead body. And he had no intentions of dying. He started a war with a great population of Kiri, as he believed that the bloodline users were a fiend on this earth, an abomination that need to be purged. They need to be destroyed, every single one of them. Thus he wanted to eradicate them, but they started to fight back, and over years upon years, it caused a civil war within the village. They were hiding, yes, they were hiding rather well. If he just knew exactly where they were, he would go there himself and transform and eradicate every single one of them, but they were hiding rather well. However, he wanted to get back Utakata and take the power of the 6 tails. Utakata has proven to not join any sides, and that is something that Yagura did not stand for, so he was going to die. Yagura's mind was set up. There was many things that he wouldn't have done in the past that he was doing now, but he was a changed man, for more reasons than one. However, unfortunately they did not get Utakata. When they arrived to the scene, signs of him being there were actually around the area, but he was nowhere to be found. Confusing the group on that. They got reliable information, so he was confused, as he wanted to end his missing tyranny once and for all. But it seems like he's once again on the loose, and he don't know where or when he will come across or hear anything about Utakata again. But it does not matter, he needs to get back to his village. For as far as he knew, somehow the rebellion forces were able to contact his reliable source of information and able to send him misinformation and attack while he was away. That is why he was demanding to get back. However, unknown to him, they had nothing to do with this. Sir, he was broken out of his thoughts as one of his men alerted him. There's someone up ahead. Who is it? He asks. I'm not sure. However, it is no one from our forces. I have not felt this stronger signature before. The censor of the group spoke up. All of them came to a stop as they saw the person standing there. It was night time, so it was hard to see. However, as the moonlight shined down upon them, they were able to get a glimpse of the individual. From his feet coming up, wearing black sandals, along with grey pants. He was wearing a cloak that split from the top coming down, exposing the black shirt that he had underneath, and a sword that was strapped to his waist. Both of his hands securely under the coat as he stood there, unmoving. However, what caught their attention was his eyes. His glowing red eyes. 3 dark totem inside of each. And Uchiha, said Yagura, stepping forward, as both of his men was to one side, the other to the other side. What would the Uchiha be doing here, said Yagura, looking toward this individual, as he made contact with the Sharingan. However, as he did so, he felt a migraine attack him. However, he shook it off, feeling something strange. As Uchiha then spoke, I'm here for you. Yagura looked towards him with a scoff. Oh, I see. So the rebellion was able to hire an Uchiha. Ah, now I understand. You're the rogue ninjas that left Konoha some time ago. I heard about you. However, there was 2 of you. Where's the other one? Yagura asks. That is not important. As I said, I'm here for you. That blasted woman believed that she can send a Uchiha after me. How stupid can she be? Sending one person to come and take me down. Seems like she's gotten cocky. But don't worry, I'll send her back your head, Yagura said. Take him down, now. Upon saying that, the two men to his left blur forward, one to the right and one to the left of the Uchiha. They pulled out weapons, short tontos that split through the ear at blinding speeds, ready to take his head off and slash him through the stomach. However, the Uchiha came up in blinding speed, his blade drawing. Yagura saw the glistening from the moonlight as it shined upon him from the blade. The one to the left had his blade slash, the metal breaking, a clean cut. The one to the right tried to bisect the Uchiha through the stomach. However, a feet met his stomach, blasting him back. This all happened in just a single second, showing how fast the Uchiha was. The one that was sent sailing rolled on the ground before coming back up. The one with the broken blade gripped the handle and drive it towards the Uchiha's skull, intending on burying the broken half in his skull. However, a simple tilt of the head and flicking to the side, the Uchiha remained unscathed. The both of them regroup once again as he tossed his blade to the side and pulled out a kunai. He gripped onto it tightly and looked toward his partner, who was still holding onto his weapon. With that, the both of them rushed forward. They tried to slice and dice, however, he dodged, he weaved, he ducked under their blows. They were shocked once again by his speed and his evasion tactic. Yagura stood there getting frustrated. These were supposed to be his elite guards. So for them to take this long to take down a blasted Uchiha, especially if he was not mistaken, should not be no older than 17. There was nothing but disappointment on his face. You two, he said, go help them and end this now, and do not waste my time. The other two quickly sped off, knowing not to question their leader, as they went to face off against Uchiha. That is when Yagura heard a gurgle. Glancing up, he noticed that one of his men had been stabbed right through the throat by the Uchiha blade. The other one tried to stab him, but he was able to pull his blade out fast and block the slash. As the other two engaged, Yagura was frustrated. How was this child, let alone keeping up with his man, and even to kill one? What is the meaning of this? None of this make any sense. He was a child. Despite Yagura's young look, despite him looking like a child himself, he was a grown adult with an obscene amount of power packed in his body, not to mention him having perfect control over his tail beasts. Yes, he was a monster in power, and these men were personally trained to be by his side in dire situation, and yet they were being handled by a simple child. That frustrated him, as he clenched his fist, thinking that he should just kill them all, them and the Uchiha, for being so pitiful to not take down the Uchiha right away. That is when he felt it, a chilling sensation, something that seemed to crawl upon him like 1,000 spiders. The sensation felt so real, but there was nothing there. He spun around, looking around and seeing nothing. However, when he glanced up, he saw something. Someone standing in mid-air, not even looking his way. Yagura was shocked. Was he here the entire time? He thought to himself. The figure was just standing in mid-air, not moving or anything. But he was sure it was a person. But he could barely feel any sense of chakra. It is like there was nothing there. It was like the sky normally. No feeling. He was very confused by this. He blinked for a single second and the person vanished. I always wonder why you would just turn against your own people like that. It did not seem wise to just kill your own people off. For one thing, you will be lessening your own manpower, weakening your village in the process. Killing off the bloodline users was a grave mistake. Yagura was holding on to his staff in his hand as a voice was speaking directly behind him. He spun. The amount of force that he brought and bring down exploded the ground. However, he hit nothing. Nothing at all, as dust and debris flew everywhere. Where are you? Show yourself, he said, trying to see through the darkness. I'm right here. Yagura glanced over towards his left, seeing the man standing there. The man was wearing a dark blue pants that went down into black boots. He was wearing a long sleeve, dark blue shirt. It was high around the neckline, almost covering his mouth. He was also wearing shades, black shades, covering his eyes. He had white hair that rested at his shoulder. Yagura was not sure who this was, but he must be working with Uchiha as well. To be frank, he expected to see the other Uchiha, but if he knew correctly, Uchihas had black hair, not white. So, she sent you as well to handle me. What a coward she is. Why didn't she come herself to take care of me? After all, as you can see, I'm all here by myself. Why didn't she come to finish the job? Oh, let me guess. She's afraid, said Yagura. Ah, I see. The man said. You're talking about Mei Terumi. Of course it's her I'm talking about. She's the one that you're working for. Oh, I'm afraid not. I actually never met her before. However, this little service that I'm going to do will perhaps help her in the long run. Don't play fool with me, boy. You think you can trick me? Well, you've been tricked for a very long time now. If you haven't noticed, someone is controlling you. You're nothing but a puppet. What? Said Yagura. I'm not surprised that you don't know. It's a powerful genjutsu, but I can see it all. I've read up about you, the kind of man you were before you start this bloodline purge. I'm sure, even if I were to free you, you will still seek death for all that you have done, eliminating, isolating so much of your people. That person turned you into a true monster. But that's a good thing for me. Now I know there is someone pulling the strings. Yagura stepped back as he looked at this person, feeling a headache come on once again. You can feel it, can't you? You're scratching at the edge. However, I'm afraid that you won't be able to break it that easily. Who are you? Said Yagura. Well, I suppose telling you who I am will not change anything. Consider the final wish for a dead man. I'm Naruto Uchiha. You take me for a fool, said Yagura. I know that the Uchihas have black hair. Well, mine was black some time ago. But it changed. Long story. I'm afraid that you don't have time for it. You insignificant brat. You believe that you can just kill me that easily. You have no idea what you're messing with. Let me show you, he said. He exploded off the ground in a burst of speed, appearing above Naruto, swinging his staff down. However, Naruto held his hand up, as a staff simply materialized in his hand as he grabbed it. The force that was created between the two sent out a violent shockwave that tore the area apart. The ground underneath Naruto exploded, his feet sinking deep inside of it, yet his knees did not bend in the slightest. Yagura tried to apply more force, but he could not budge him any further. Naruto's hand shot up to grab him, however, Yagura slapped his hand away. But not just a slap though, as he applied something to Naruto's hand. Coral. White coral wrapped around Naruto's hand, trying to solidify as he started to raise up his body. As Yagura stood in front of him. I told you, you had no idea what you were messing with. And now it's over, he said. I'll rip you apart with my bare hands. Naruto watched as the thing started to travel up his arm. Now die, said Yagura as he jumped forward. However, as Yagura came down with force, his hand destroyed the ground. He had passed right through Naruto. Yagura turned as he looked up to see Naruto's body fading in and out before it vanished, like he was never there. He felt something as he spun around to see Naruto standing there. How? I touched you. That wasn't an illusion. You couldn't have placed me under an illusion. What did you do? Yagura said. For someone who is currently being manipulated, I don't think that you truly understand what an illusion is. You have already suffered enough. You have already done things that you cannot come back from. Let me put you out of your misery. Just give up. "Shut up," said Yagura. "Do you really think I'll just hand myself over to you? Well, you're sadly mistaken, and now, as I said, I'm gonna rip you apart." He lowered himself on all fours, as his skin quickly burned off. He turned into a miniature, Three Tails, his body covered in red chakra. As he growled out, his white eyes looking at Naruto, he sped forward at blinding speed, as his hand was already up to tear Naruto apart. However, with speeds that Yagura could not follow, Naruto stepped around his hand and was now side by side with him. Naruto then reached out and grabbed his corrosive hand without even showing a sign of discomfort as he pulled Yagura, lifting the tail beast up, actually making it come off its feet. Yagura was now suspended in mid-air as Naruto had tossed him. Immediately Naruto was upon him. Naruto then started to attack. 12 punches in the span of 2 seconds. The attacks were brutal. The miniature tail beast could feel the pain despite his state. However, the last punch was what sent him sailing. He blasted through the area, creating a gigantic trench. However, he was already picking himself back up, shocked at the display in power despite the state that he was in. He got up as he roared. He immediately charged a small ball from his mouth and fired it. A miniature tail beast bomb. However, Naruto outstretched his hand. It was covered in blue chakra. Yagura was dragged towards him at blinding speed, the tail beast unable to stop itself. It was placed right in front of its own tail beast ball. The attack exploded upon it. Yagura in his miniature form was sent sailing as he smashed through several trees before slamming hard into the ground. As he struggled to get to his feet, blue flames ignited upon him. He started to scream and tried to tear it off. However, it was not burning him but the chakra. Every ounce of the tail beast chakra was burned off his body. To revert him back to his normal state, he sat there, his body in pain, shock written all over his face, as he could not understand what just happened. Being hit by his own tail beast bomb did a little number on him despite the state that he was in. That was something that he was not supposed to be hit by. He sent it towards his enemy and yet he was pulled by an unseen force. However, despite that, he got back up to his feet as he pulled himself out of a small crater, pulling himself up to see Naruto standing there, looking down towards him. "What did you do to me? Where did my power go?" "Oh, it's still there. I just burned away a bit of it. But I've already wasted enough time. It's time for you to come with me." Yagura got up with a snarl as Naruto reached up and brought down his glasses. As their eyes connected, it was there that Yagura was able to see it. A brilliant, glassy clear blue, with 5 totems spinning in each. Yes, there was 5 totems in each of his eyes, as they were swirling together. Yagura already been quite beaten up from just a few blasts, tried to fight back. However, his body was slowly getting weaker and weaker, as he found himself collapsing to his knees before he fell face first. Upon doing that, chakra started to leak from Yagura's body. The genjutsu that was once placed on him finally being broken. "At least you can die as yourself," said Naruto, as he walked over and picked him up and placed him on his shoulder. "Is it done?" a voice said as Naruto turned to see Sasuke, as he was wrapping bandage on his right arm. "Are you okay?" Naruto asked. "Yeah, I'm fine," Sasuke said, as he brought the cloak back down covering his arm. "Yes, it's done," said Naruto. "It's time to go." Naruto's glasses were still down as he looked towards his right. Immediately, space and time seemed to be ripping open before it tore open completely. A wormhole of sorts, as both Naruto and Sasuke walk into it and vanish. Sometime later, Mei Terumi was currently going over a few reports, the supplies that they need to keep the P-player sustained. However, the route that they had to take was close to where the Loyalists' Watch Brigade was, and she couldn't afford to place her people in jeopardy. She ran a hand down her face as she closed her green eyes and took a breath. This war has been taxing on everyone. It's been going on for a very long while. She was currently the leader of the rebellion forces, dressed in a blue dress, with burgundy red hair. She leaned back in the chair that she was in. Right now she was hoping for a miracle, while they were getting the upper hand on Yagura. The problem was, he could outlast them. After all, he was still in control of the village. The ninjas were still taking missions there, despite it being a few, because the water daimyo did not like the civil war that was going on. All she wanted was for it to be over. "You look tired," a voice said. Immediately she was on guard. "Do not make a sound. Alerting your people would not end this well for you. After all, I was able to sneak in here without you or your people even noticing. Are you really that willing to put your people's life in jeopardy?" Mei swallowed thickly. Who the hell was this person? How were they able to get in here without her even noticing? And her sensors. Just who the hell was he? She thought to herself. It was definitely a male. She felt him walking as she prepared herself. It was almost like nothing was there. Like she could not feel him standing behind her. If she did not hear his voice, she would not know that he was there. Was this an assassination attempt? As she lowered both her hands under the decks, preparing herself to lash out at any moment notice until she was able to see the person and what he was holding. Her eyes widened in shock as she looked at the man. He looked to be around 6'1". He was tall. White hair that reached down towards his shoulders. His eyes were covered by glasses. The collar of his shirt came up so much that it almost covered his mouth. As she wondered who was he. But the more alarming thing was the person that he was holding on to. It was Yagura. There was no mistaking that. It was Yagura. He set the man down. He is dead. And now this war can finally be put to an end. And you can take over as Mizukage. Mei was locked in a moment of shock. She asks, "Who are you?" "Someone that you will not remember until the time is right." Hearing him say that allowed her to jump out of her seat, as she tried to gain some distance between them until she realized he was no longer there. "Didn't I told you to remain where you are?" Mei swallowed thickly. He was behind her. Shock written all over her face. She tried to move until she felt something. It felt like something entered her body. Something that she could not describe, a feeling that felt euphoric and at the same time felt off-putting. She started to sway on her feet as she collapsed right in his arms. "What did you do to me?" "Nothing harmful," he said. "However, as I said, you won't remember this until the time is right. And when you do, I will return for a favor," said Naruto, looking down towards the woman as he brought his glasses down, looking into her eyes. Moments later, Mei jumped up, snapping her head from left to right as she looked to see Ayo. "Ayo, what is it? Why the hell are you startling me like that?" "Mei-sama, look." Mei looked ahead, her eyes widened in shock. "What the hell? Wait, is that?" Yes, it's Yagura. Did you?" "Me? No. I thought you did." "No, I came in here to see him. You did not came to the meeting, so I thought that something might have happened and I came to see the scene. Who brought this body here?" She tried to rack her brain for the information, but there was nothing. I don't know," she said, as she was at a complete loss. She could not remember that body being brought here at all. Time skip. A-rank ninja Aoi Rokusho, who stole the Raijin blade from Konoha, a creation of the second Hokage, was currently faced in a dilemma, as he was face to face with a Kunoichi from Konoha. At first, he thought that he would just slaughter her and continue on his path. It would be the first time that he come across a Konoha shinobi and been able to come out victorious. Aoi, for all of his claim of being an A rank, He wasn't that powerful. However, with the Thunder God blade, he believed himself to be untouchable. Fleeing from Konoha and heading towards the Hidden Rain, becoming a missing ninja of the Hidden Leaf Village. He was having a good life so far until he came across this girl who was actually hunting for him. He had no idea how she came upon his information or how she found him at all. However, he would not lose. That is his mindset when the match just began. However, 3 minutes into the battle, and Aoi found himself being defeated. He was confused. How can a simple girl like this be pushing him so hard? He gripped the hilt of the Thunder Blade as he pumped more chakra, causing the buzzing to get a bit louder, as the force of his chakra was empowering the blade. In front of him she stood, her long flowing blonde hair, 3 whisker marks on each of her cheek. It was none other than Mito Uzumaki. Mito has grown a lot, in both mentally and physically as well, maturing from a young girl into a beautiful young woman. She was wearing a black t-shirt, long sleeve to be exact, with a sleeveless orange jacket over it, her pouch secure on her hip. She was also wearing a burnt orange skirt with a black short underneath, black high-thigh boots that came up, her headband securely resting on her forehead, keeping her bangs out of her face as her long flowing hair was blowing behind her. She stood there in her stance, looking towards the ninja in front of her. There was a reason why she was here. "I warned you," she said. "Now I'm going to take the sword from you by force." He spat in anger and disgust. "You pitiful, worthless Kunoichi believe that you can take this from me. I will cut you down where you stand," he yelled, rushing towards her. He had no idea who she was. She waited for him to get closer. The moment he got close enough, chains exploded out of the ground. His eyes widened as one of them grabbed his right hand and squeezed, forced him to drop the blade. He tried to reach for it with his left hand, but Mito was already in his guard. She clenched her fist so tight as she pulled it back and drive it forward. However, Aoi ducked underneath it though, a smirk on his face, as he was able to grab his blade with his other hand and came up. He slashed her across the face, causing her to stagger back. He did not stop though as he twirled and bisected her, a grin on his face. She should have known better than to come and attack him. However, this was not reality. Inside of this little dream that Aoi was having, the man was on the ground. His face was a complete mess. The ground underneath him was pulverized. His body was indented in the soil, as his right leg was twitching on the ground. The moment Mito had swung her fist towards his face, she had not missed. However, Aoi had found himself in a dream of him winning, and that was all the illusion of him dreaming that he bisected her when her punch had taken him out cold. She looked down towards him as she picked up the blade. There was no longer a blade, you had to channel your chakra into it, which she did, as the blade sprung up, bringing a smile to her face before she diffused it, as she placed it in her pouch. Mito had been strong when she was younger. Naruto and Sasuke had said that for themselves, how her fists were heavy, and it was getting stronger. Over the years, she learned how to channel her chakra into her fists. This was completely different from her natural strength. What she used a moment ago was her natural strength to bring Aoi down. Females of the Uzumaki clan always tend to possess immense, inhumane strength, and Mito was no exception. However, she was able to also channel chakra into her face as well. But she could not do it perfect like Tsunade could. After all, she had too much chakra. It doesn't matter how much she trained, her chakra was just that large. Over the past 2.5 years, yes, the 3 years had not been up yet. It has been 2.5 years. She was now 15, almost 16 years old. Her chakra had grown immensely, and this was not counting the 9 tails. Her chains wrapped around Aoi as she picked him up and started carrying him back to the small village where Jiraiya was waiting on her. They trained for 2 years straight. Yes, 2 years it was non-stop her training, and Mito would excel in almost everything Jiraiya threw towards her. However, he told her that he was going to give her 6 months to gain as much experience as possible. After all, Because of him, she would not be promoted to Chunin or even Jonin, but he intended to rectify that. That is why he had spoken to Tsunade by the Toads, allowing Tsunade to send missions towards them. This was her 52 mission. For the past 6 months, Mito had been non-stop. Even Jiraiya told her to settle down a bit. She might be going a bit too hard. However, she wanted to gain the experience and the strength that comes with it as well. She wanted to be ready. And the thing was, throughout all these missions, even the ones that Jiraiya helped her with, she has not failed a single one of them. Recent information came across Jiraiya about Aoi, Rokusho, missing in from Konoha, so he sent Mito to handle it. Despite the man being ranked as an A rank in the book, Jiraiya had no problem with sending her alone, knowing that she could. And they still had 6 more months to train. She knew that she has gotten stronger, but she also knew that Naruto and Sasuke would get stronger as well. She wasn't afraid to admit it. Naruto was always stronger than all of them. From in the academy, he was always stronger than all of his students. Even when they were on a team, he was stronger than her and Sasuke by quite a lot. That is why she had told Jiraiya to not waste any time. He had been true to his word, as he had promised to train her with everything that he got. Even when he was not there, he left behind scrolls. Scrolls that helped her improve a lot. She was still determined to become Hokage and still determined to bring Naruto and Sasuke back no matter what. She would save them, and nothing in this entire world could stop her from doing so. But she knew not to be too cocky. Aoi Rokusho, despite being ranked at A rank, he was relatively weak. The only reason why he was ranked at A rank was because of the blade that he had stolen. It was a high priority of the Hidden Leaf. So he was not that strong. But she knew by now Naruto and Sasuke was probably far above him. So she had to get more stronger than how she was right now. A lot more stronger. As she made her way back towards the village. Meanwhile that was going on, Naruto was sitting in an open area. It seemed to be a room, giving the bed over to the side. And there was a table there as well, a lamp on said table, and a candle over to the side. However, at the moment his eyes were closed. All of these items inside the room were floating off the ground. Yes, they were floating off the ground. Naruto's body was releasing a small amount of chakra that seemed to resonate all around him, connected to everything in the room, causing the entire thing to float upwards. As they stayed there suspended in the air, they were not going up and down, they were not moving, they just remained frozen. Like they were frozen in time. Over the past 2.5 years, Naruto was able to discover a lot about himself after hearing the full story from Ichigo. The story blew his mind, however. Ichigo thought that Naruto would understand his plight and understand what he would need to do. However, Naruto shocked Ichigo when he chose his own path to do something completely opposite of what Ichigo thought that he would do. All Naruto ever wanted was for the history of his eyes. What truly lay out there? Were they alone? But they were not. And now Naruto knew. He knew a whole lot, which he told Sasuke as well. There was so much things he had packed away in his mind. That is why him and Sasuke regularly leave Orochimaru base without the Snake Sani knowing. The only reason why they had not killed him yet was because they still needed a place like this. A place they can come and unwind away from the world. Orochimaru hideouts were completely secure. While they plot, both of their mindset has been changed. When Naruto told Sasuke about what is to come, what the future lies, the both of them realized they had to make changes. Big changes that will help them face the future. And they was gonna change this entire elemental nation to do so as well. However, they need to get stronger. Not just any normal strength. They need to have the powers where people look upon them and see them as gods. Powers that can make nations bow in front of them. That is the kind of power that they need. And that is what they're working on. Naruto was able to unlock another totem in his eye. Yes, it has been 2.5 years, but the final totem seemed to be the hardest. Ichigo had said that himself. Ichigo was the only man to unlock 6 totem in each eye. The other 2 that came before Naruto never unlocked. Past 2. Naruto was the first other than Ichigo to go this far. When he unlocked the 5th totem, his hair changed. It turned completely white, snowy white. He could feel his body changing as well. He could feel himself getting more powerful. And know that he had 5 totems in his eyes. He could see everything. He could see the life force in people. He could see the chakra throughout the entire world. It was so much, so connected. However, the real source of energy lie in a domain that only a few people can enter, him being one of them. However, he wasn't sure that he can do it again without the 6th totem. The last time he did it was because of the turmoil he was going through after just finding out about Itachi. And that was a coincidence, something that he tried to replicate, but it won't happen again. But he could feel it. The moment he got the 6th totem, things would change. There were still abilities that he had yet to truly awaken. Upon unlocking the 5th totem, he could feel a small amount of the power that possessed in the 6th. The space around him, the void, the infinite, the limitless. He could feel it all around him. He had somewhat a small control over it, but without the 6th totem, he could not have the full contact to the limitless. A power which would take him away and above all of those around him, which would set him aside from the beings that he would be facing in the future. A power that he would need to face off against them. However, with the 5th totem, he just could not grasp it. But he had yet to unlock the 6th one. The chakra imprint of Ichigo was quite upset with him after hearing what he chose to do, but there was nothing that the imprint could do. It could not exit the book and actually stop him or anything. It's been a while since they talked. Naruto has already got what he wanted, and that was information. Information that will help them for the foreseeable future. But not just him alone. Sasuke will have to become a whole lot stronger as well. But they were already working on that. They just needed some more time. Just some more time, Naruto thought to himself. He got up to his feet as he opened his eyes. Everything settling back down. Slowly but surely, chakra started to come from his body. As the chakra came together and formed a perfect copy of him. This seemed to be a clone, but it was not. It was purely made out of chakra. Even if you hit or punch it, it would not just go and dispel like that. As long as Naruto still had power within him, the clone would not expel. It was something that he did for Sasuke as well, able to pull on others' chakra. That is why he was able to control Yagura in their fights. Blue. The blue chakra that was resonating through him. The red chakra. The red chakra was a form of chakra that belonged to tail beasts. He learned from Ichigo some time ago that with their eyes they could wield all kinds of chakra and all kind of energy. However, upon drawing on the fox chakra all those years ago, when he first made contact with it, it had bonded to him and started to replenish itself by using his own chakra, allowing him access to two. But the most dangerous is purple. Combining the both of them, he created miniature black holes that could suck, distort, repel, and destroy everything in its path. The red was used to expel and push, but the blue was used to attract and pull. As Naruto could use it on his enemies and yank them and pull them towards him. It was like controlling gravity, but at the same time it was not. Its power was complicated. But that was not all. Naruto was also able to rip open space and time. Yes, the activation of his 5th totem in his eyes allowed him to breach into other worlds. And also, soon enough when he awakened the 6th, create them. At the moment he could not though. However, the strongest ability that he's gained, the strongest that he had yet to use on the enemy, because he could not fully utilize it with the 5th, he needed 6th, was his domain expansion. Something of his own creation that would be a game changer against the Otsutskis when they arrive. He felt it. When he had made contact with the Tree of Life, they felt him. It was only a matter of time before they started to seek out where his power came from. Also, the tree hated him because, like the tree, Naruto was able to feel and see all chakra, and to an extent, perhaps control it. The human body was never meant to control and wield such a power unless he surpassed the normal human limitation and break into the realm of the gods. But that is some time away. He was not strong enough for something like that. However, at the moment, the space in front of Naruto ripped open as he stepped through, vanishing. Naruto reappeared in a grassy field. It was big and luscious, completely different from The dank place that Orochimaru had them in. The air was freshened, lively, filled with so much nature. Even now Naruto's eyes could see it all. The energy coursing through nature, another source of the energy and the life force that was around them. He could see the power in the plants, in the small animals that move around. This was a space that Naruto was using. He wasn't sure how many worlds were out there, but he was sure that there was a lot. So much so that he could not even count. He had yet to break the first peak of this mountain. However, this place was useful for one thing. It kept them calm. As Naruto walked, his feet started to leave the ground, moving towards the ocean, where he saw him, Aisabu, the three-tailed turtle. It was calmly sleeping in the water. The water was so clear that Naruto could see him. This nature, this environment, kept the tail beasts so calm that they just remained asleep until Naruto was ready to use them for what he seek. Flying over towards the other distance, Naruto came across the six-tailed slug. He had taken this from Utakata. For one thing, Naruto could extract a tail beast from someone without killing them. He had so good control over chakra and his own, and also others that he made contact with. Naruto could separate the harmful chakra without actually taking the person's life, so keep that in mind. The reason why he allowed Yagura to die was because the man wanted to die. His mind would be fractured and broken to know what he had did under the compulsion. Naruto was able to feel the chakra. However, he had to come in contact with the person to know who it was. But he was sure the person was still alive, the person that placed Yagura under that genjutsu. But if he ever came in contact with that person, he would know who it is the moment he came in contact with them. However, these two beasts were not the only ones that were here. Calmly resting under a tree was a gigantic four-tailed monkey asleep as well. The serenity of this place, the chakra in the air, kept all of them asleep. Once they had taken Roshi, the fifth tail had been taken away. Oniki making a quick move to pull it back towards the village, keeping the holder there, knowing that someone was after them. And it was not the Akatsuki. No, it was not. The one-tails. Gaara was now the Kazekage of his village. The two-tails and the eight-tails were kept under heavy watch by the Raikage. The seven-tails was currently in her village, deep within Taki. As Naruto and Sasuke did not want to draw any attention to themselves just yet. No one even knew what they were doing. That is why he was counting on the Akatsuki to make their move, because him and Sasuke still had a lot to do. Once the Akatsuki made their move, he would know, because they had a spy in the Akatsuki. Someone that was watching out for them. Someone that will retell them the information on where the Akatsuki was going after the beasts and when they get them. Yes, they had a spy in the Akatsuki. They've been up to a lot in the past 2.5 years. So all of the tail beasts were accounted for except the nine tails, which was in someone very dear to him. Even after a time passed, she was still dear to him, close to his heart, more than a friend. However, she had to see him as an enemy. That is why he had shut himself off completely to anything regarding the heart and feelings. Yes, something painful and hard to do, but it had to be done. However, the dimension was still secured. Because of his bonding with this dimension, something that he alone could do, completely bonding with that entire dimension, Naruto could feel if anyone were to enter it. The Osutskis also possessed power to enter and exit different dimensions as well. They could not know about this. He was not ready for them. He's not strong enough just yet, but he will be very soon. Time skip. 6 months later, a big smile was on her face as she looked towards her village. How things have changed, she thought to herself, as she looked up towards the stone faces to see Bachan face on it. So, glad to be back, Jiraiya of the Sannin said beside her, as Mito simply ran up one of the nearby posts, making her way as she stood on top. As she held her arms out, Konoha, she's back. She heard something down below as she looked down below to see Sakura And also the Konoha core as well. She jumped down with a smile on her face. Oh hey there guys. Wow, is that you boss? Konoha said, looking towards her with shock. Yep, it's me Konoha, she said, a grin on her face. As Udon looked towards her with starry eyes. You've changed a lot, boss, said Konoha in still shock. Yeah, even I have to say. You look a lot different, Mito, said Sakura. Oh, Sakura, she said with a smile. You've grown as well. I guess we all have. Yeah, but you. I mean, look at you. As Mito blushed, come on, she said, waving her hand. Come on, let's catch up, she said. Hey, remember, said Jiraiya. We have to go and talk to the Hokage. Well, I was heading there anyway. We can go there, Mito, said Sakura. Oh yeah, she was training you in the whole medical thing. Not just that. I impressed her so much, she made me her pupil. Really? Said Mito with a smile on her face. Why do you sound like it's something impossible? Well, it's not, but it's just... Well, it's impressive. I mean, going from a reserve genin to the Hokage's pupil. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, I know. Sakura said that smug look, making Mito chuckle. As they made their way towards the Hokage's office, several people seen her. As Jiraiya took to the roofs, making his way there first. They say it's beautiful Heim. Meanwhile, that was going on. At Orochimaru's hideout, sitting by herself in a room, was a woman with red hair. She was also wearing glasses, red eyes as well. Her name was Karen Uzumaki. Karen Uzumaki has been a server of Orochimaru for quite some time now. However, a week ago she was given a dilemma. Not from Orochimaru, mind you, but from Naruto Uchiha. She's seen him a lot of times. He was one of Orochimaru's star pupils now. However, from the day that she met him, she knew that he was not under Orochimaru-sama control like many of the others. Nor was she, but she respected Orochimaru as well, as he saved her from a rather terrible fate back in her village when they were using her. She shook her head away from those thoughts, however. She was good at experimenting as well. Granted, she was not as good as Orochimaru, but she knew how to mix DNA and do several other things. That is why he came to her, asking her to do something for him. But if she do this without Orochimaru's consent, this would like be betraying him, right? She knew that. She should have told Orochimaru right away. However, she found herself unable to do so. He said something that frightened her. There will come a time when Orochimaru is no longer here, and you will have to choose a side. She knew what he was implying, but was it even possible for him to kill Orochimaru-sama? And why didn't she say anything about it? Why did she keep it to herself? She had no idea. She had spoken to him before on several occasions. She's also spoken to Sasuke as well. She had a huge crush on Sasuke, but for Naruto it was different. She didn't know what it was, but it was a feeling that she got from talking to someone like Orochimaru. Someone that she should fear and also respect as well. It was different with Sasuke. While Sasuke was powerful, Naruto was someone that not even her own sensory ability could fully understand. She did not know what he was capable of. She wasn't aware how much chakra he had in her body. Somehow, someway, he was able to completely erase his presence, like he was not even there. She was afraid of him, intimidated. He told her the next time that he was here, he'd want an answer to the question that he gave her. Said question was still rocking her mind. If he truly killed Orochimaru-sama, what would that mean for her? Did he want her to join him? That must be the case, she thought to herself. And yet, knowing that she should tell Orochimaru all of this, she did not say a single word. Why not? She wasn't sure. She knew that she wasn't under any genjutsu because she would have sensed it. Did she fear him that much? Or was it more? Did she admire the power that he wielded, knowing that he could bring a change? Once, in the past, he spoke to her about her past that he somehow knew of. She figured that it was either Kabuto or someone else that told him. And he told her that he would like to create a world where children didn't have to go through that. His word had touched her heart. She would also like to see a world like that. Maybe that was the reason why she had not said anything. However, she was afraid. unknowing what this would mean for her. If he failed in killing Orochimaru, she knew that Orochimaru did not care that much about her, only what she could offer. After all, he stuck her here for the past couple of years now, watching over prisoners that he experimented upon. His question still rang in her mind, and he told her that he'll be back soon to get her answer. As she wondered, was he gonna? She didn't know. Meanwhile, a distance away, Guren, a blue-haired woman, red lipstick, dressed in a green battle kimono with flowers on the side, one of the sleeves missing, high-thigh boots, was currently searching for Yukimaru. Yukimaru was a boy that she had grown rather close to, given the fact that she was the one to kill his own mother. She felt like it was wrong for her to get this close to him, but she had. Yukimaru was a very special child, but she wanted to keep him safe. However, Orochimaru and Kabuto had experimented on him so much she was afraid that one day his body would not be able to take it. She was also angry. Orochimaru tossed her aside once again. Before, she was so loyal. She wanted Orochimaru to take her body and use her as a host. That is how much she admired the man. However, once Uchihas came, he treated her like she was a second-rate citizen, like she was no longer important to him. That was something that she deeply hated. That is the reason why she hated the Uchihas. One of them, though, got on her nerves. Naruto, that is. Maybe it was fear, she did not know, even though she would never admit it, but there was something about him that put her off. The way he carried himself, the power that she felt coming from him sometime, those glasses always concealing his eyes. As she was looking for Yukimaru, she still could not find him when she glanced over to see. This hideout was near a gigantic stream of water, and at the edge of the cliff that led down into the water was Yukimaru sitting down. She rushed up over there, but he was not alone. "Yukimaru," she said. He turned. "Guren-san," he said, a smile on his face. "Were you looking for me?" he asked. "Yes." "What are you doing here?" "Oh, Naruto-san here thought you'd be best for me to get some fresh air." Guren glanced towards him. He turned and he faced her. His eyes, she did not even know if he was looking at her. But he was. But the glasses, it was hard to tell. "There's no need to worry, Guren. He's fine with me." Guren did not answer to him. "Come on, Yukimaru," she said, "let's go." As he got up, "It's time already?" he asked. "Yes." As he then turned back towards Naruto. "I'll be going now, Naruto-san," he said. "Goodbye for now, okay?" "Yes." "Goodbye," said Naruto as he got to his feet. Guren's eyes watched him rather carefully. As she watches, he just stood there, as Yukimaru rushed over towards her. They start to walk away as Guren glanced behind her, as she turned her gaze towards Yukimaru, who was trying to get her attention. "Why don't it seem like you like Naruto-san?" Yukimaru asked. "Why would you say that?" Guren asked. "Well, you always seem to be angry when he's nearby. Did he do something?" "No, he didn't do anything." "So what's wrong then?" he asked. "It's nothing. Nothing for you to worry your head about, okay?" "Okay," he said. But Guren did not trust that guy one bit. She did not trust him in the slightest. Orochimaru saw him and no one listened to her, because it seemed like she was no longer important. But at least she had Yukimaru. "Yukimaru, what exactly did he talk to you about?" "Oh, he asked me if I was happy." "If you were happy?" "Yeah. He wanted to know how I was feeling." Guren was confused by that, as she glanced over her shoulder. What the hell does he want? She thought to herself. Back with Naruto as he looked down towards the rushing water. Only a matter of time, Naruto thought to himself, as Sasuke appeared behind him and walked up towards the edge of the cliff and stood by his side. "The Akatsuki is going after the One-Tails," Sasuke said, as Naruto turned towards him. But guys, be and subscribe right here. If you want to see the next part, do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification stay posted. But I'm off now, see you guys soon. Peace.